Well, everybody, I think it's that time. Microsoft Windows, thank you for the wonderful music. Now, Crappy, take us on over past Vegas to the Gamerville, because we are doing what? This isn't the Losers Bracket Round 5. This is the Losers Bracket Grand Finals. Come on. I mean, the Losers Final. Not Grand Final. Losers Final. Whoever wins this is going to be going into the Grand Finals for the GM bracket. So take us. See, I told you it was Vegas. There were people playing cards. There were the hot ladies. It was good. It was good. Well, you know what? I think we've got a GM who may or may not be from Vegas. I have no idea where they're from, but I do know that they are giving something that is out of this world. Say hello to our friend, Omega Number. Yar! Hardy, hardy, har! Yar, yar, yar! I'm yarring and I am harring, and we got yar, har, yar, har. Hello there, Omega Number. Are you here? Because if you're here, I'm not hearing you. Welcome to life. Sometimes the Kusog is so strong. It just... Hello, I think you're here.
Yes. Hello.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm actually excellent today. I'm pretty happy. I've had a pretty good week so far. Hopefully the rest of the week is good too. So
good.
And hopefully this game, everyone's going to enjoy. This is supposed to be. I don't think it said that on the display, but the theme of this was it did have a theme for this.
Oh, what's the theme?
It was supposed to be mutual assured destruction.
Oh, so essentially we got the nuke.
Yes, this is the nuke.
I love that. Oh my gosh, everybody, I didn't even know we were doing mutually assured destruction, but that honestly makes sense when I'm looking at this game now. This is a doozy.
I saved this one. I thought it needed to be for something very special, and that was the time.
Oh, what game do we have today, then?
We're playing Space Harrier.
Okay.
Yeah. And we're playing a version that is officially published by Sega.
Okay, so it's a real version that we've got?
Yes. And it was even commercially published, sort of in a way. I'll explain when we get going. This is for the Sharp MZ700, which is a machine I'm sure everybody here has heard of, right?
See, Omega Number said that, and I was like, stop making stuff up. Because I can't deal with that today. We've got Kusog7ande, and I don't know what an MZ700 is, but now that you say that it's a Sharp, that makes a lot of sense. Well, both of these players are going to have 1 hour to try to make as much progress as they can in Space Harrier. We are doing it in progress, right?
Score.
Oh, we're doing a score attack. Okay.
This is confusing enough that progress might be a bit difficult, as you'll see once the game gets going. And probably if they actually did make a different stage, at least, that we'll have a different score. So it probably will all even out in the end. But you can blame Corndan, by the way. I was just going to do stage, but he said you could do score, so, blame Corndan for everything.
Blame Corndan. Now, we thank Corndan. Thank you, Corndan, for being the corny Dan. Never mind. I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to get in trouble if I say anything else. Oh, well, I am super excited for this. I've never seen this, anything published for this home computer. I assume that that's probably true for the players as well as like the vast majority of the people watching today. I do want to make sure that I get everything captured correctly, so give me just 1 second. There's like a little line of paint I'm trying to get rid of. There.
Yeah, look at that chat here. Yeah, as Codeman38 mentions, this particular computer only has text mode. There is no graphics whatsoever on this. And people kept using it for a while. And there are all these games with graphics. So yeah, you got stuff like this.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I hear the soft music here. I'm digging it. NPC has agreed to put some audio up so that we can hear this. And yeah, I can tell this is all text. These are all things that would be available in ASCII. I hear this is going to be very difficult. And that the players are probably going to struggle a little bit, and I'm very excited to see this struggle. What about you, Chad?
Yeah.
I mean, Chad's talking a lot already. We've got Spock Harrier.
Yeah, they haven't even actually seen the game in action yet. So yeah, no, we're really going to get some interesting reactions when this goes. I had to come up with the most special game I could for the nuke. So, that's this. This is special enough. I mean, some of the previous ones, can you name some of the previous memorable nukes just for context here?
So we've got a question in the losers final. NPC is saying, by the way, are we Knuckles? I don't know what that means. Is this a Sonic thing?
Yeah, they're just trying to identify their character.
Oh, okay. So NPC is Shrek holding a large bird, and Doewolf is I'm Knuckles. Doewolf is the Master Emerald. I don't know what Sega game we're going to be playing, but it certainly is called Space Harrier. And it's certainly for the MZ700, if that computer is even real. Oh my gosh, this is smooth music. I'm telling the players right now, by the way, to go ahead and grab a drink. Let me know when they are ready. You know, we've only got 1 hour to see as much of this joy as we can, and I am honestly extremely ready. Space Harrier.
The music, for just to explain to chat, is from the actual arcade game. There you can find a 27-minute edition of the arcade music, and so NPC has it on loop. So we will be hearing actual normal Space Harrier music during this, which I can tell you there's no way that this music could be played on an MZ. So,
you don't say. I mean, It's like the Apple II didn't have the best sound card.
Yeah, you had kind of a VIC-20 could struggle things because it had sort of the same thing as the C64 to an extent. And then when you finally get to the SID chip, is that when you actually start to get good, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, Commodore 64 had some amazing tunes on it. I actually really like to hear what older games did and what tricks people jumped through in order to make games work on computers that really shouldn't have had this game, or had the game that they tried to put on it, and yet they figured out a way, and somebody figured out a way to get Space Harrier onto this beautiful computer. And it looks like both of the players are ready. I'm gonna go ahead and give them the countdown then. So I need chat to spam emotes. What would be appropriate for this?
So they're in the fantasy zone. So weird flying things, dragons, fireballs, floating stone heads. Weird blobs that don't look like anything, because that's how this game's gonna look sometimes.
Any emote that you literally have no idea what it is, because you've got a few of those, so those would be appropriate. Spam away, chat, because we are starting right now on stage 1, Moot. Oh my gosh. Oh, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I guess first maybe we should introduce normal Space Harrier before I start talking about the weird stuff. But I mean, if you've played Space Harrier before, this is at least kind of recognizable. You've got the flying character, who is there's not really much of a plot to this. If you like go to anything that has a plot, like a manual for something, like I'm looking at the Master System version manual, and it just says defeat the enemy forces and save Dragonland. So you're not really missing a whole lot of lore. And then just stuff flies out at you and tries to kill you. There's 18 stages. There's bosses and some of them, most of them actually. And this does have an end. Like you actually get an ending if you reach past the 18th stage. I don't know how likely that will be for our players. We'll see though. I mean, they've been surprising before, but technically speaking, you could beat this in half an hour if you actually did not die.
You know what's
there
funny?
There are no continues.
This looks like Space Harrier, but if I'm not wearing my glasses, it almost looks just like Space Harrier. It's just very, very, very blurry.
So the dragon here, by the way, was actually inspired by that was the dragon that was killed. Neverending Story. So that was a movie that came out just a little bit before that. Do you remember the dragon in that? Flying white dragon? I don't remember the name of the dragon.
No, Falcor.
Yeah, it's the same creature. They put it in the fantasy zone.
Yeah. Oh no. I can't say what I'm thinking right now because Falcor came up in a conversation yesterday and I just cannot repeat anything that was said about Falcor. Okay.
Let's see.
Apparently he's...
My brain cannot parse this. This takes a while. You do actually get used to it. It is kind of interesting that it's sort of... I mean, once you think about it, you're basically just looking at pixels that are really big. And just work with that. So that's how something like the TRS-80 did graphics, which, they had TRS-80 games like Zaxxon on it, and it didn't have graphics either. It just, they made the pixels real big, and that's, so this is ASCII only. That's how you do it in that case. This is way more ambitious though because it also has color. So it's got extra confusion involved with that.
By the way, I'm just trying to look. Were the players told that it was going to be a score attack here?
Yes. Yeah, it was in their paste bin. I hope they read the paste bin.
Aha! Yeah, I think I copied the paste bin.
I gave a paste bin,
Yeah, I mean, I love it. Honestly, there's a lot of good information that has been given out to players. A lot of, whenever we have a weird emulator like this, there are probably going to be some elements of confusion. Let me tell you, are those eggplants? It looks like we've got some,
I'm not sure. I mean, I've got the lore sitting in front of me, and they've got names for various things, but I've never actually quite been able to match up all the names of the enemies with the names of the things on the screen. So let me look here and see if I can figure out. That might be a Vensveen, which is it's basically you're getting attacked by a 20-sided die, it looks like. Maybe. I'm not totally sure. And then there's the Rupar. That might be what you're looking at too. That's got like a kind of a sphere on the top and then legs on the bottom. So.
Yeah. Well, we are currently almost 5 minutes into this. We're listening to the arcade music, but right now I think really the players are just trying to figure out how to play this, and honestly, and DeWolf right now appears to be doing relatively well when it comes to score. NPC is doing a first attempt through. Honestly, I'd say for both players, the first or second try through the game, it's not going to matter quite as much. NPC getting a game over right there. He will be starting back over, and he will have a chance. DeWolf as well. DeWolf currently in the lead by about 300,000 points, I believe. So not a bad start for either player. But yeah, figuring out how to optimize that score will be something that the players need to figure out. And I think just knowing what is terrain, what is destructible, I'd say that this game actually, it looks incredible, but also it looks impossible to play. Like, there are just too many objects that are very similar colors here.
Yeah, it does about the best. Like, I would say this is about the best MZ700 version of Space Harrier physically possible. Like, there would be no way to make this any better on that machine. And the person who made it, he is amazing. Let me pull up his name again here. I had it right now. But this is Furuhara. Is what he goes by on the credits for all the games he's written. And he has other conversions. He's got Metro Cross, which is one we considered when we were going through games that might be giving, but that one just ended up being kind of linear and short, and like you couldn't really lose, so it didn't work as the well. Whereas this one was perfect in terms of length and so forth. So,
yeah.
Yeah, he wrote quite a few of these in the late 80s. He's got a sort of Soden kind of game called Ujiya, which is really good.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it would probably be good for Don't Make a Sport. It is almost like a 10-minute game, though. It's again not long enough for our purposes here.
Yeah,
it's even
gotcha.
got so same programmer, yeah, and it's got like the graphics in that one, like they're not even confusing. They actually look like you could imagine a modern game doing what it does. It's an original game, so the author felt free to make it actually work, as opposed to this, which kind of confusing to look at. It looks like they're handling pretty well this time, though. One of the interesting things about this being a score tack is it does make these early stages more important, because you can get points by shooting things. One of the problems with this game, the arcade, especially Afterburner, which is the same developer, one of those follow-ups.
Yeah.
You can kind of go to the corner and just not shoot things. And you can, make it through a lot of levels that way. I remember there's a port of Afterburner where there's this person who's playing all the Sega games, Sharpie.
Yeah.
He was literally playing games in between runs of Afterburner. So you put the controller down, and then he switched. I think it was some form of color, a dinosaur. I don't think it was a dinosaur. So he's playing two games at once. So this game, I tried that a bit. It doesn't really lend itself to that. You die decently quickly if you just try to avoid stuff. But still, it is nice to make him shoot things for the score. So.
Oh yeah, I imagine that. There are probably some decent cheese strats, and as soon as you know more or less how everything in the stage moves and where it goes, it's going to be relatively easy to dodge, especially if spawns are set, which, as far as I'm aware, there's not too much randomness in spawns when it comes to Space Harrier.
Yeah, it is choreographed, and there are lots of patterns that I don't know. I don't know this game well enough to know how choreographed it is, but this was actually... so I haven't even talked about how this was published, but this was technically published, and this is, again, as I said earlier, officially licensed by Sega. This was published in a magazine. This was a type-in.
You would type this in?
Yes.
Oh, I love that. I love it so much.
Yeah, it was in this magazine, let's see here, hold on, make sure I get the magazine. I'm looking at Japanese things, so I have to concentrate for a second.
That's fair.
It's a magazine for shark computers, which this is. OX, it's the 1988 issue, October.
Okay, gotcha.
There's a little, very, very tiny screenshot of what the actual the first page looks like, but unfortunately, I can't find the actual magazine anywhere. Like, it's not an Internet Archive or something. So I can just confirm it from the fact that the person who posted this video in Japanese also did put a page of what the front page of the source code thing looked like. But yeah, so this was before they printed it in this magazine. They got permission from Sega, So it doesn't. This doesn't have the author that I talked about. He's not actually mentioned in this game. He's mentioned in all his other games, but not this one because this one they licensed it from Sega, so they just put Sega on it. So
yeah,
it's kind of like a DOS thing. Which wasn't that like somebody came to Capcom and they said, "Hey, I've got this Mega Man Among Us," and they were like, "Cool."
Yeah.
Is that how it went?
Essentially, somebody made a fan game for Mega Man for DOS and showed it to Capcom, and Capcom was like, this is pretty neat. Let's go ahead and put it out. Yeah, that would be really cool. And so they did, and I think that that's really, really cool. And if that happened with Space Harrier for this platform, I'm like, honestly, this is stellar. Like, having one person put this together, sure, it might be difficult to see what is happening, but it is still a very impressive demake of the game, if I may say so. Like, this runs really smoothly. For a computer that's like purely a text processor, this is very impressive.
Yeah. So we never actually talked about the computer, did we?
No.
Other than it must not be real. Oh, there we go. Game over. That was pretty good progress.
Yeah, look at that. 4.985 million points. Wolf getting 4.726. Wolf falling a little bit behind, about 200,000 points behind. But luckily, you can see the high score at the top left, and we've got it pretty clearly defined at this moment. NPC is in the lead.
So now you can see why I did not want to do progress within a stage. That would have just been a little too hard on this. But yeah, Square works really well. So the computer, so Sharp released a lot of computers. If you're in, a U.S. person, you might never really heard of any of them, but they were very popular in Japan. They were sometimes popular in Europe. One of them was a top 10 seller in UK in terms of computers.
Okay.
They actually lasted for a really long time. This particular one was 1982. So it was, I guess, still excusable at the time to have a text mode only computer. It's a little odd. I'm trying to think of any other text mode only computers that were public that came out this late. I think there's at least one other Japanese one that was. So MD's not alone in that putting out a text mode only computer. But I think some of it might have to do with there's kind of the story about how the PC-88 got high resolution really fast because of parsing the Japanese language.
Okay.
And the problem is like when you're kind of halfway between, when you got kind of blocky but not really that good res, but it's still graphics.
Yeah.
And it's like trying to put Japanese characters is a lot harder. So you can either do text mode and have a character set, which this does. This doesn't actually use any Japanese, but it does. It's in the Japanese character set right now on their emulators. And if they would type any other keys, they would see Japanese characters.
Yeah.
But so you couldn't really be in the between point between this text mode res and high enough res that you're like PC-88, where you've got the larger res that lets you see the Japanese characters. And the larger res meant that like PC-88 has some very choppy games that take a while to get used to if you're used to like playing it and NAS, Yeah. But that's part of why this happened, I believe. I haven't seen anybody like theorize too much, but that seems to be why they were able to put out a text mode only computer this late. But like I said, this was popular in Europe too. They go on.
Like, I know that in the 80s and 90s, there were various places that would give grants for businesses that would use computers, but a lot of them also would give grants only for specific kinds of computers. So it makes, like, especially computers that were primarily or very specifically for business or had a specific amount of memory or something, so it would make sense that come out, like, it's going to do okay. You know, it probably won't do as well as computers that come out later just because the popularity hadn't quite blown up at that time. But still, like, 1982, I don't think that's weird to have a text-focused computer come out at that time. You know, we like, especially with the video game crash that came after the golden era, you know, a lot of people thought that home video games were going to die out. It was mostly going to focus on arcade.
Yeah, so, say about it. I am not quite sure why Sharp, they did actually, I don't even remember the name of it, but Sharp did sell one of their earlier computers in the US. It did very badly. Nobody knows about it. They tried. They actually did try to enter the US market. So they weren't like trying to be just in Japan. I think there is some perception amongst some people looking at computer history, like the Japanese were just trying to be insular about their computers and not bring them to other countries. But you know, like I said, they did manage to successfully have their computers in Europe. It's just the U.S. It was wrong. They didn't have any inroads into the market. So,
yeah. We do have a question in chat. Yeah, for those who are wandering in right now, this is a real version of the game. It was published. It was made by essentially a fan of Space Harrier who was like, hey, maybe I can make this work on this home computer. And bam, they did it. This is a fantastic fan game that got converted to, or like, got officially published by Sega. Like, seriously, huge credit to Sega for taking a risk with this. I don't know, like, for actually giving the approval, you know, considering that it was one, like, thing that you would take the magazine home, you would type this in yourself. It probably wasn't as big of a deal for Sega to be okay with that. But still, like, I love it. I love this. This is fantastic. And there we go, NPC with a new high score, 5.5 million points. Oh my gosh, this music is so chill. Is this still Space Harrier music?
It's all Space Harrier music.
How do you not fall asleep playing Space Harrier? This is like the most relaxing.
I don't know what to tell you. It's an intense enough game that you don't. It is. So, by the way, the same composer did Outrun. You know those tunes?
Oh yeah. Like, those are generally a little bit more upbeat, but still contain some of the chill that you get with this. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's got the same similar feeling. And also did the more recent Outrun, I think 2006 Outrun. So
there we go. NPC finishing a run at 5.8 million points.
So there's 18 stages, by the way, for anybody trying to see if anybody's going to make it to the end.
Nope.
You know, again, it is possible somebody might crack the code. You know, there is. This keeps amping up and keeps getting harder. But on the other hand, it is like similar patterns. Like you're going to have the bosses are variations on each other. That's true even in the arcade.
Yeah.
So that means that, like, if somebody like really figures out, like I could see somebody get into the groove in the last half hour just doing it, but you know, I would be amazed to happen.
I love this. I'm gonna go ahead and say that, like, I fully understand why this is on Kusog7ande, because this is probably one of the, like, this port is definitely one of the less playable, but it, like, Space Harrier is such a good game anyway, and whoever did this, like, did the impossible, or at least very close to the impossible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when I was picking games, I mean, one of the things I was trying to do, I think on my list I only had one I thought was like an absolutely bad game. Like, it was safe for if that nobody got that far deep in my list, so nobody's got to suffer that. like actually bad. Like I would apologize before giving it kind of game. But this is honestly cool. It's just, yes, it's Kuso.
Yeah.
And it's nuke level, really, Kuso.
Yeah, like this is something that, oh, it's so cool. Anyways, yeah, I've been saying that like maybe a little bit too much, but I'm very, very impressed by the creator of this game. With that said, Space Harrier, I feel like we've entered a weird area in video game design today where, like, there's certain games that a lot of modern indie games copy from, but Space Harrier somehow got lost in that. You know, the third-person kind of adventure game. Sure, you have a lot of third-person adventure games, but none of these, like, even though there are modern space shooters coming out, like, nothing like Space Harrier.
Yeah. It's like people still do the shmups. You just had one yesterday, right?
Zero Ranger. We had that on Don't Make a Sport yesterday, yeah. And that game is fantastic, by the way. Highly recommended. Go play it on Steam.
But yeah, I'm trying to think of somebody who did like a modern, like if somebody were to do a modern Space Harrier, they wouldn't be like, I'm making a shmup. They would be like, I'm making a game like Space Harrier.
Interesting. Mooware is saying that there were some games recently that sort of had that style. If there are Mooware, I would love to have you like share the names because I would like to look them up. I'm very interested.
Yeah, I mean, I keep track of a lot of Steam releases, but I can only keep track of so much, so yeah.
Yeah, there are a few Steam releases these days. Just a few.
Just a few. Oh my goodness, there's quite a few.
Yeah, but like, seriously, I've been thinking about learning how to play around with the Godot engine, and I sort of wanted to make a 3D-esque, like, prototype of Virtual Highlight, but I was thinking, what if I use kind of the graphic style of Space Harrier instead? Because I feel like that would be a little bit more natural feeling when it comes to like 60 frames per second, because I would actually try to make a good remake of Virtual Highlight and not a true to Virtual Highlight, you know?
I like how we're watching this game and somehow the topic went to Virtual Highlight. You know, it's like all roads to Virtual Highlight.
This is third person. Virtual Highlight is third person. This has flat sprites. Virtual Highlight has flat sprites. Come on, they're basically the same game.
Incidentally, NPC is doing what I was mentioning earlier about you can kind of go in the corner sometimes and not shoot things. If he's got a pattern, right? And that's what I'm saying about beating other levels is that will occur later where you can just do that. And I think in the end, it is probably better to make progress without losing the lives than it is to like get all those points from in the middle. But I mean, it's kind of it's a gamble still, you know, because if your opponent is making the same progress you are and they're shooting stuff, then they're getting more points than you.
Yeah. Well, Mooware has found a couple games that have come out recently that definitely draw inspiration from Space Harrier, and this one that I'm looking at, Azura the Striker, that is apparently, the demo is out on Steam, but it is not out quite yet, but probably will be very soon. You can definitely tell this was inspired by Space Harrier. Like, as soon as you have the freaking ovals on the screen, it's Space Harrier. Purple oval, that's Space Harrier. That's all you gotta know. By the way, Wolf getting a good new high score of 5.2 million points. It's still behind NPC's 5.8, and the NPC might actually get a new personal best on this attempt, what with 4 lives left. I feel like it's probably going to happen.
Yeah, no, I mean, we haven't been talking too much about their strategies, but it doesn't look like NPCs is actually starting to kind of feel real strategy as far as playing it. Because there's movement patterns on each stage in terms of like when you which part of the screen is safer than another part, and it seems like he's actually kind of generally trying to exploit those. In this case, there's sort of a mid-top screen and a mid-bottom screen that he's switching between. Let's see here.
Yeah,
there's
go
still
ahead.
time to change here.
Well, yeah, and considering NPC going against Wolf, you know, these are two of the last three players in the Kusog7ande bracket, you know. After this, one of them will be going to up against Flannel Cat in order to decide who is the grand champion. It's not... like, neither player should be resting at this point. They should know that they need to get good pushes. But honestly, the first half hour or so, learning sort of how the game works, your various strategies, is it worth getting a lot of points early on, or is it worth just staying safe? That's one of the questions that I would have. And, you know, considering that you seem to get a really decent score every time that you kill a boss, it may be better to just, like, take the earlier stages careful. NPC was hiding in corners and not shooting, especially when you're on a stage where, like, the enemies and such blend into the background. A few of those stages have already come up.
Like this one right now, NPC is on. This is the one that I believe Wolf said in chat or something about. Let's see here. I thought I was getting good at reading it, and then I hit this stage.
I think that was stage 5 or 6, which also is very difficult. Like, I think stage 6 was a quote-unquote ice stage, and oh, geez. Yeah. I'd say really impressive representation, but nope.
This is, by the way, the farthest anyone's reached in terms of a stage, too, so...
Yeah, this game belongs in a museum, okay?
Yeah. No, it's just, I'm glad I got to show it off here, because, you know, nobody's heard of it, so... it's...
I didn't know this existed.
Into weird Japanese computers. So yeah, no, I mean, I actually first learned about the Sharp MZ series. I mean, I've been playing adventure games. I don't know if you know about this. I've got a blog where I play adventure games.
Yeah.
I'm up to 1982, where they're starting to show it for the MZ computer. Like, there's this one called The Adventure Game, which is based on the BBC show The Adventure Game, which is a very British TV show where, like, in the middle of the show, they actually play a text adventure.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. There were so many text adventures. I love it.
Yeah, there's, like... It's very British. But yeah, the actual beta game based on the show, which apparently you need to be familiar with the show to actually do well at the game, so I'm been afraid of that one. Because I'm watching the backlog of 1980 British TV, which...
Yeah, that's not exactly my strongest genre when it comes to media. I'd probably say that might be my weakest genre. Hey, NPC is on to stage 9 and is just trying to stay alive. I love this. Look, 7.2 million points. NPC is just doing fantastic right now. Wolf on to stage 4. Yeah, this stage is a little bit hard to see as well. We also are just getting some bitrate crunch here. Not a huge surprise.
Oh, yes. Yeah, any other ones with the towers, you can use this strategy to just do the corner. It looks like Wolf kind of has his own method of going up and down on the left side, and that seems to be working for him. So I think there's probably more than one pattern on this to get it so that you can survive. I do think this is probably a beautiful game because there's enough patterns that once you parse it out, you'll be able to do it.
Oh yeah, I'd say that, like, based off of what I've seen so far, like, this is definitely playable. However, it's just like eventually you might reach a point like. I don't know. Maybe it isn't. Maybe they just throw an extremely difficult boss at the end, and nobody knows because nobody ever got that far. Who knows?
I've watched the whole game, but the person was cheating.
Fine, whatever.
There's a long play, and they just gave themselves infinite lives.
Cheater.
So I have seen the whole game, and yeah, you actually get like an ending, like you get to see a scroll of all the enemies, and they look really hilarious in like blob form. I mean, it looks like you'd seen like Mario where you showed Bowser and then the different Koopas or whatever, but it's set there. They're a bunch of blobs. It's glorious.
Okay, Wolf on to stage 6. I think this is the stage that he was complaining about, because, oh boy.
And it may look like that this is, I mean, yeah, NPC is ahead for sure. You look at the score, look at the fact that he's got it to stage 10. But this is definitely the kind of game where if you can get in the groove, you're going to be able to go really far. So it's possible that NPC will die and then Bill Wolf will manage to keep going, and yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
He might be doing it, though. He is more than halfway. So this one's at 18. The last stage is 18, just so you know. So it is possible. It would take, so it's about a 30-minute game. When did this run start of his? Like 10 minutes ago?
Let's see, like, significantly, yeah, it was a while ago. It's been lasting for quite a while. Like, the players have plenty of time to make decent attempts. I think even if NPC gets a game over soon, he's got a good 3 or 4 more attempts at the very least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, based on this amount of progress, though, yeah, it's possible it might get to the end. Yeah, well, it would be glorious to see the end. It would be probably getting close to where the hour is, though, but which is fine. Then,
yeah, I'm invested. I like this game. Come on, kill the squares. I don't even like squares, okay? Overrated shape. Seriously. Like, triangles are okay. But the freaking hexagon, okay? Hexagons are the best. Anybody who disagrees, you can come fight me, okay? I will punch. Yeah, look, hearts. I mean, that's a decent shape as well. Wolf, game over again. This is life when you are playing Space Harrier Square Edition for the MC700. However, that is a new high score. Hey, stage 13 for NPC.
That previous one is a bonus stage, so you really shouldn't be dying. You should be getting lots of points in that one. So, let's see here.
Yeah, see, chat agrees. Hexagons. Okay, maybe it's just Shrambles who agrees, but hexagons ahoy! NPC at 11.6 million points gets a game over on a very pink sky.
Okay, yeah, if he starts the run right now, he could finish by the hour. It's about I think it's like exactly 26 minutes is about as long as you need to beat the game. So it's possible if he manages to avoid, we'll see.
Yeah.
But, this is intense.
This is ridiculous. I love it. Here's the deal. All you have to do is have one good push, all of your previous attempts don't matter as long as you get the one good push. We just need the one attempt. If Wolf can get a new high score and just manage to stay alive during some of the more difficult stages, then he could potentially move into the lead. I'd say that, NPC is so good at games, though, that I'm not too surprised NPC is doing this well, but I also know that we've seen comebacks before that have been more significant than this. Like, this is still a fairly good separation, but it by all means is not over, especially, like, if the players start learning how to farm a decent amount of points early on, and then later on stay alive. Because, like, with most video games, usually the earlier stages are going to be easier than the later stages. Get all of the points that you can early on, and then be a lot more conservative, and that's the approach that Wolf has right now. I mean, look, we're at 1.8 million points already, and Wolf's only had one death. NPC at 1.3 million points, but also has not died a single time during this attempt. I don't know, there's a lot to weigh.
He is in the groove now. I think he is actually reading everything. I don't think the visuals are actually causing an issue now. It's a matter of getting used to it. Now, Space Harrier is still a hard game, so that doesn't mean that you're going to be perfect just because of that. But it does produce, for obvious reasons, less bullets you have to dodge than the arcade version. So,
oh yeah.
How good did you ever get at the arcade version? It seemed like you were very familiar with it, but how familiar?
I'm not very familiar with it. No, I don't think I've ever played it, but I've watched it a lot.
Yeah, I try to remember arcade how far you've gotten. Like maybe stage 8, I think. And I played. So the arcade that I usually played it at, they have different, like, Sega had like very fancy one with a sit down, and you would actually like there would be like motion attached to it. This was one of their very fancy first very fancy games for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't remember the exact details of. I try to remember if the seat actually moved over as just something else, but it was kind of a case that it wasn't really very replicatable at home. I do have a Thrustmaster, which looks a whole lot like a Space Harrier joystick for playing games that are, I usually do it for like Space Sims, but worked for this game too.
Yeah. By the way, both of the players are currently in the eggplant dimension again. Wolf is doing a little better at farming points. NPC has been doing better at conserving lives, but unfortunately took a hit on this stage, whereas Wolf took a hit early, but has gone since then without taking any damage at all. Honestly, because Wolf is getting a lot of points early on, that could be pretty significant. However, Wolf needs to learn how to get through stage 6. Stage 5 or stage 4 seems pretty trivial. Go to the left or to the right, go up and down and shoot a bunch. You won't get a whole lot of points with this strat, but staying alive might be more important. No, Wolf, you got hit.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, no, it is interesting because they're basically the same distance, so we can kind of measure their scores. And Wolf is definitely getting more points from that strategy. So it's just a matter of can Wolf reach the same point NPC did, because then even if didn't have quite as much progress, would still have more points. So
yeah, I don't know if Wolf. No, not Wolf. Usually I think about score being a way to get extra points, but I haven't seen or extra lives, and I haven't seen any extra lives in this game. I think, like, you just start with 5 lives and you are stuck with them, and if you lose one, it's tough luck. Do you restart, or do you just keep going from where you were? It looks like Wolf is on the bonus here, currently fighting the White Dragon.
Going by Twin Galaxies rules.
Or are you the White Dragon in this one?
No, you're just shooting the White Dragon. Hold on, actually, wait a minute, you're right. Is the way, I don't even remember how this works in the original. But yeah, you're trying to hit as much of the stuff as possible.
Yeah, I love that somebody in Twitch chat said, is this 64 by 48? No, per Hedgemage, it's 40 by 25, something like that. And so, yeah, you can joke about how low the resolution is, but it's probably lower than you think.
I also like this comment. I was just scrolling to see if any other good comments, and Jeff said, The MD700, the one console I haven't given out a game for. So yeah, I finally I found something that was I guess that I'm not sure I'd say beat Jeff, but
and that's how I beat Jeff.
yes.
Yeah, no. Okay, this is something that I want to make crystal clear for GMs. You don't have to beat Jeff, okay?
I wasn't
You don't
trying
have
to.
to, okay? You don't. No, nobody has to be the next Jeff. We're all jealous of Jeff, okay? We all are. I know this, but.
Yeah, I mean, my first match, I was trying to find something to give poor Dan. I mean, who is literally every single item that's on the Kusog7ande list he has played, plus a ton of other stuff.
Oh yeah.
He shot down the craziest game that I would never expected anybody to have played, but he had played it. So yeah, the fact that it was like, normally I might like just go to nice peaceful console games or something, but when it came down to it, there was like I couldn't find anything like anything that I thought plausibly the GMs might not have played before it was out. So it's like, okay, I know about these weird computers. Let's see if I can find something that's playable in this format, and that can be kind of hard. Like, there's a lot of games out there for old computers that do not work as an hour-long game. They're too short.
Oh yeah. Well, it's
super repetitive. They're hard to follow. You can't figure out an objective that would work. I shot down so many ideas, and it wasn't like I was trying to be obscure. It's just I did know about this one from. I don't remember. I think I found it out about Twitter once. Like, I follow some Japanese people, and one of them was tweeting about it, I think, and that's how I learned about this one.
like this has so much more substance than I would have expected. Oh, by the way, comparing Dolewolf and NPC right now, Dolewolf is being a lot more careful because he only has this last life. NPC actually passed Dolewolf up and has a higher score at this point. And I think that Dolewolf's need to play a little bit more conservatively at this point is really what's causing his score to fall behind NPCs. So whatever NPC has been doing in order to conserve lives and make a higher score towards the end, it's working. This is working out in his favor. My gosh, this is terrifying because I don't know where hurt boxes are. I don't know where collusion is. I don't know exactly how everything works. Like, it feels like it's probably pretty intuitive when you're playing it, but like as a viewer, I just don't know where something's gonna kill you.
I will say it's actually pretty generous in terms of hitboxes. I mean, you have to really hit something to hit it. Like right there, it definitely hit something. Like, I never felt when I was playing like I got cheated by a hitbox, which I feel all the time in NES games.
By the way, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but Dolewolf currently making a new high score. We've got 7.3 million points. NPC still has a significantly higher score with 11.6 million. We'll have to see if Dolewolf is able to keep this run going, because if so, he could potentially move into the lead. It's going to be tough. It's going to be very tough. But again, all you need is one good run.
Yeah, and NPC, even though had the life lead, now it's down to 1 life. So it was at 5 last time I looked, and then it blinked, and then that's just how arcade games can be sometimes.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, this music is so chill. Freaking vibraphone. Okay, if you ever want to make a song sound chill, you just throw the vibraphone in as well as some good old Casio organ, and you're set.
Yeah, so it was funny when I was asking them if they. So the way I asked this was like, this is kind of a Snulf situation. where I just needed them to have the same familiarity with Space Harrier. Like, if one of them had beat it before and the other one hadn't, then, that would be a problem. It turns out neither of them had played it before. NPC thought he had played it, but he had actually played some different game that eventually figured out. What was the name of the game he had played?
I don't know. There are a few different. I don't believe he had played 3D World Runner or. There was a game that I think I gave out during Kusog7ande that he had played. Let me scroll up. And then also Night Striker is the other one that he had mentioned. And Dulwolf's run is at an end. Dulwolf will have to start over.
But Dulwolf said that he actually had just been listening to the soundtrack for this, even though he never played the game or watched it. Even he was listening to the soundtrack for the game. So that's how good the soundtrack is. That apparently you don't even have to care about the game, and it's a good soundtrack. So.
The other one that NPC had played that I made him play, I think, is Jinmu Densho, and that is a Space Harrier type game that is a platformer. And let me tell you, platforming in this perspective, not exactly the easiest.
Yeah, I'm trying to imagine what that looks like.
Well, you don't have to imagine. If you go and play Jinmu Densho, you will have that experience because, oh boy.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. So.
You taking a look? You taking a look at it? It's another game that sort of. I'm thinking Honey on the Road had a place where you could fall into a hole and end up in a second stage that was essentially hell. Jinmu Densho also has that feature, except it's like through the entirety of one stage, and you're almost always going to go to hell, and it's much, much harder down there, and I love it. It's an incredibly difficult game to play, but I recommend giving it a shot. It's got neat ideas that didn't work out. Oh, NPC, that is a game over. 7.9 million, not enough to get a new PB, but NPC not one to stop before the hour. I think that is the way to go. Yeah, there have been times in the past, by the way, with high score attempts that we let them finish out the last attempt that they had before the hour hits. I don't believe that was given to them for this round, so
right.
It will be.
Go by the score at the hour. I did give any special. We got extra time afterwards. I was immediately predicating that on the fact that I figured they were not going to be willing to play after the hour based on the look of the game. But
I love this. I'm very tempted to play this myself. I'm very much enjoying this.
Yeah, you should also play Eugea. Like I said, that is
which one?
Eugea, Eugea. It is not based on any arcade game, but it does kind of look like Sword of Soda. It's like one of those where you've got a really giant character with the sword, and kind of really clunky jumping. What's that other game that's it's going to be in GDQ now again?
What, Virtual Highlight?
No, the character fills almost the entire screen. I'm not even remembering the name.
Zadette.
Yeah, Zadette. Yeah, it's got a kind of a Zadette thing going to it.
By the way, here's a screenshot, I believe, of Eugea. There's a big snake there. Okay.
Yep. But that one's got 3 stages, but it's got routes. So you actually you can choose the above or the below route. And so there's a little bit of replayability, but it's still a short game. So I was trying to figure out a way to maybe make it work, but I almost don't consider it piece though. Even though it's ASCII, it's just too cool.
Too good. I love it. Honestly, what people did with some of these older consoles, older home computers, it's incredibly impressive. Again, I feel like this game is perfectly at home, but I love this. It is so impressive what they were able to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but for those who are showing up late, this is a home computer, the MZ700, made by Sharp. It was meant for text. Everything is text mode. There is no graphics mode. And somebody decided to make essentially a fan conversion of Space Harrier for the text home computer, and this is what came out of it. The Sega saw it, and they're like, sure, we'll publish it. Put it in a home magazine so that all you had to do is go and type it in. Sure, it probably took a good few hours typing it in. I mean, some of those programs are a little lengthy, but still, like, the fact that they gave you the information for how to make this on a text computer is so cool. Like, that's how a lot of people learned. Like my father, he learned some programming by going and changing, modifying games that you had to type in. And he ended up making his own little game on the Atari. Unfortunately, that one is lost to history. Yeah, I don't know if there's any chance of refining it, unfortunately. But it's one that I loved to play a little bit as a kid, especially since it had really funny glitches. It was called Blocks. Very original name.
Was it like a puzzle game or like a platformer?
It was a platformer. You were a block and you jumped up on other blocks, and doing a platformer on Atari was actually really hard too. Like, at least making it run smooth, and I recall the platforming actually worked pretty well. It's just the number of blocks that you were able to despawn, as well as like the end goal you could despawn. That was a bug that he didn't manage to get out of there, and I loved it.
There was one Atari type-in that was on my list of games to consider. It was, again, too short. It would have worked in Gauntlet, but I don't think our emulator right now has Atari computer save states. It just has like the 5200 and the 2600.
Yeah, I grew up with the Atari 800, and while I specifically have an emulator for it, personally.
Yes, I'm still here. I'm listening to your Comcasting.
Yeah, okay, well, hopefully we are back in just a little bit. I've still got it recording at home, just in case it comes just in case it's a long-term issue and doesn't get resolved. Please keep playing.
Okay.
All right, I think we're back, everybody. Let me refresh the streams. Don't worry, you don't have to stress too much, except that Wolf is probably done with their attempt. So let me go ahead and bother Wolf. Well, okay, well, hopefully we are back for now. Hello there, Omega Number.
Hi. I'm not seeing a screen, but if you're seeing a screen, it's okay, I guess.
Haha. It currently is showing that it's running, but we'll go ahead and.
Yeah. Okay. I've got my alternate screen here. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. It's Comcast has survived.
We survived the Comcast. We survived, everybody. Wolf is currently chilling right now. I believe that Wolf believes that is pretty much the last run, and I fully understand that. Hello there, Wolf.
Yeah, it would take me another at least 12 minutes to make it back to stage 10. Like, it's not happening.
Nope.
Why did my best push have to be on the round where I completely flubbed these tree eatings as a snake minigame? Whatever you want to call that. I probably call it Dune Worm. I completely flubbed the Dune Worm minigame.
I mean, that happens, Wolf. Like, you got 7.5 million points, which is pretty dang good. I honestly think that.
What's NPC at?
I mean, 11.6, but you still. Yep, it still was a really good push. Like, not joking. I think that how how far did you make it into this? Did you make it to stage 9 or so?
I was on stage 10.
Stage 10, because I
was
think
on
that
stage 10.
is more progress than other
I was
people
like
have
really
made.
hoping that stage 10 would be a second bonus. I was really hoping stage 10 would be a second bonus stage, and then I just rack up points, and then like I die, but whatever. Like I got 2 bonus stages, so I'll just try, and then we can try again and did 2 bonus stages, and then it wasn't the bonus stage, and then that just took all the wind out of my sails, and then I finally lost that last life that I've been hanging on to for like an hour. And, rip.
Beautiful. Yeah, NPC, like, I think that you did fantastic. It's just NPC made it to what? Stage 13? But NPC is a beast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, NPC was saying he played some game like this back at when he was a kid, and like I've never played anything like this. And you know, that's how blind racing works. Is you played a wide variety of things, and I've played nothing like this.
Yep. Like, simply put, this is a genre that I don't think gets much attention these days, and it's a genre that I really love. I actually, like, what do you think of the game as a whole, DoeWolf? Is this a playable, functional game?
Honestly, as given the limits of the system, this is incredible. The game actually feels very good to control. There's lag, but it still feels very good to control. The hit sounds to tell you that you're hitting something invulnerable, that's not something I expect out of an 85 game.
Yeah.
The graphics are disgusting, but except for stage 6, they're pretty clear. Stage 6 is just stage 6. Something went horribly wrong with the art.
Well, you know what? NPC is dead, and I'm gonna call that time, everybody. Because...
well, I beat his final attempt. I'll take it.
Heck.
Because it has the Blaster Master 2 effect of it gives you auto fire, but mashing is much better than the auto.
The auto fire is so incredibly slow. It's
really?
Like 1 a second or something like that. It's just not usable.
Yeah, that's why I call it the Blaster Master 2 effect.
Oh no.
Because if you can, I'm trying to stay awake right now so I can do this. Yes.
Oh, I should have set up Joy to Key, or not Joy to Key, auto fire scripts. That would have been fun. Slightly cheap, but it would have been fun.
Well, it's allowed whenever they give us the opportunity to use it. But,
yeah.
I mean, I have a nice little program, auto hotkey, right on my desktop. But yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, though, I think both of you did extremely well. It's just NPC, you're a beast when it comes to weird old games, and you just managed to do well. DoeWolf was commenting as well that you've sort of had a little experience in similar games, or at least similar games within the same genre or so. Is that right? I made you play Jinmu Densho, is that right?
That is a much worse game than this.
How is that possible?
That we've times much. Because you go into hell in that game, and it's impossible to get out.
I told
one
you,
of these
Chad.
stages might have been hell. I don't know. It was really hard to tell, but I bet you one of those stages was supposed to be hell. Also, that's not how you spell Giza.
It's
I just
true.
want to say that.
I was happy that there was a trance level in this game.
Oh, if there was, I don't think I made it to it. Furthest I got was 10. And I'm told you got farther.
Yeah,
I got to 13.
13. So NPC...
Was there a second bonus stage eventually?
What?
Probably.
Was there a second bonus stage eventually?
Yes. Yep, there was.
Yep, that would explain the score jump.
So yeah, NPC, you won by about 4 million points.
Which is about the second bonus level. So
yeah, about the second bonus level.
You 3 more stages plus a bonus stage to me. Yeah.
It was level 12 and then bonus, and then I died at 13.
Yeah, and I always tell people it doesn't matter really. What do I always tell people? Do I tell people anything? I don't know. Don't feel bad losing NPC. It happens. That's the biggest lesson.
Too late, feeling bad.
No, stop
Day
it.
ruined. Time to drown my tears in cake.
Ooh.
So did you figure out that? So did you figure out if you were at the very top of the map, the columns couldn't hit you?
I did, but then you don't get points.
Well, I mean,
So on stages
points versus getting the second bonus stage. I think.
Yeah, so you could also cheese by going on the far left and far right side, which is more what I did, because then you still get points by shooting things as they're spawning in on the sides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that doesn't work on stages that have too many bullets, like 6. 6 is dumb. I hate 6.
Yeah, that's a lot of bullets. 6 of them. No, stage 6. I know what you're talking about, Dowolf.
Yeah.
It's hard to
The
basically
gray
see.
stage. Everything is gray and more gray and slightly different shades of gray.
It was like winter, you know? It's a very
And then there's an
snowy
occasional
place.
blue, but the blue is trying to kill you.
It's true. Avoid the blue, stay in the gray,
No,
but
you
not
can
all
shoot
the gray.
No, you can kill the blue.
Oh,
You go
kill the
after
blue.
because you can kill them first.
Fine, kill blue.
Like, the visual clarity in this game was actually pretty good when you could see things. It's just the
It's-
gray on grays of 6 are rough.
Honestly,
Yeah.
like, this game is shocking how good it is. Like, I think that it still belongs here on Kusog7ande, though. Like, IMO, this game is perfect here because, like, this port doesn't feel like it should have existed, but it did, and it's just absolutely amazing, despite how difficult it is to see a lot of stuff.
Well, in my opinion, I kind of put this in the Contra MXX version,
Okay.
in that it basically did what it did with what it had, and it works. It's just not how you envision a game working, that's all.
Yeah, I agree. Like, this works extremely well for what it is. It's difficult to see, but at the same time, if you're going to make Space Harrier for a text-based computer, this is as good as it can get, I think. Like, and this was a fan game that Sega saw, and they're like, yeah, we'll publish it. I think that it's amazing. I think I love it. Yeah.
They technically didn't do the publishing. They gave permission.
Fine,
to be
they gave permission.
So it is an officially licensed Sega trademark product that is not even listed on the Wikipedia page for Space Harrier as a port because it's so obscure. But we can play it.
Well, somebody
I
go
need to get
edit
off the-
Wikipedia.
Take care of y'all.
All right, see ya. Yeah, we're about to go and.
What about your? What I was about to say. Yeah, sorry, I didn't know that was Omega saying goodbye.
Oh, what were you gonna say to Omega?
No, I wasn't going to say anything to Omega. I was just going to say something about Dowolf. That's all.
What about me? Uh-oh.
Yeah, let's
No.
hear your piece, and then we need to hear Dowolf's final words. What do you got to say about Dowolf?
No. That's what I was going to bring up because I thought Dowolf was about to leave, and it's like, we need Tombstone.
Dowolf, we
Awesome.
need your tombstone.
Be
So-
wormy trees! Be wormy trees!
Be wormy.
Bee worm eat trees.
Oh, I got you. Bee worm eat trees. Okay, I would.
Exactly.
There's a question been going around. Would you still love me if I were a worm? And whenever anybody asks me that, I say no. Unless I know that they were the person before becoming a worm, because I don't care for worms. I just don't.
What
How
about-
often do you get
what about-
asked this question?
Justin
what about-
asked me a lot.
What about Dr. Worm?
I don't know who Dr. Worm is. Who's Dr. Worm?
He's interested in things.
Most
He's
people are
not a
interested
real
in
doctor,
things.
but he's a real worm, an actual worm. And right now, you're probably thinking, what is he talking about? And that's the lyrics to They Might Be Giants song called Dr. Worm.
Oh, I think I know that one. Maybe. I don't know. It's hard to say.
I could sing it, but that's not Kusog7ande.
Well, you know what? That's fair. Let's go ahead and raid somebody because I'm traveling tomorrow to TwitchCon. We're doing Grudge Match Saturday live at TwitchCon. It's going to be on the GDQ channel at 7:15 p.m. Eastern, 4:15 p.m. Las Vegas time if people are there in person. I really want people to come and support it because this is the first time that we've done. Like, there's been a mystery race before, but this is the first time that I've been able to do my shenanigans, and I'm really excited.
I can't wait.
They're racing Ghosts and Goblins for NES.
Oh, you picked the NES version. Okay.
Yeah, we're doing NES. I had to go buy a copy of the game myself. Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be good. Well, I'm looking to see who we can raid real quick, and honestly, the best person I think is going to be Smite. Smite might also be playing on Grudge Match relatively soon. I'll let people know about that if that does happen. Other than that, Wolf, NPC, anything happening that people should know about?
I'm gonna be on a rhythm game tournament this weekend.
Ooh.
For Friday, it'll be streamed.
No. Okay. And where is that going to be streamed?
I am looking that up right now.
Cool.
It will be twitch.tv/kittycatastrophe. And here, I'm gonna link it in the
I
chat.
just want to say that is a great Twitch
That
name.
is a great one. Yeah, go ahead and slip a link in there. I
So,
will personally be
yeah,
occupied.
I'll be playing around 2:20, I think is the time slot. So yeah, that's when I will be trying to get as far as I can in the tournament.
Sweet.
Good luck.
What about you,
Thank you.
Wolf? Anything going on for you?
Well, I am going to be running Half Minute Hero for the RPG Valkyries in like 2 weeks.
Oh,
And then
sweet.
I'll be running Maka Maka, a amazing bad game for Super Famicom. I'll be running that for Questing for Glory. That's the marathon in like the week after that.
Okay.
Oh dear Lord! I just looked up a picture. Oh my goodness, what is this game?
Maka Maka?
Yes.
It's just like a legend. It's one of the worst games. That's just
Ooh.
I don't know. Like it's one of the worst games. In this community, is that even a statement of anything of importance? But yeah, no, it's just incredible. It's
I'm gonna have to check that out. Yeah,
Yeah,
be sure
definitely
you
check it out.
tweet and let people know. I'm fine with you sharing on the Kusog7ande Discord. Everybody, the grand final for the gem bracket will be NPC versus Flannel Cat. I am excited to see you two go up against each other. Who's gonna win? I don't know, but we'll find out relatively soon after TwitchCon. So take care, everybody. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday. Bye, Wolf.
bye.
Bye, NPC.
Bye.